Syngenta Crop Protection Canada and C&M Seeds present the Wheat School on RealAgriculture.com.
When we get closer to harvest time, Phil, is there anything that growers should keep in mind in terms of making sure they're managing harvest appropriately?
You know, if growers have done a good job seeding the crop, planting the right amount of seeds per square yard or per square metre to a consistent depth, they've managed it with nitrogen, with fungicides, with insecticides as and when required, it's then going to be important to harvest the crop in a timely fashion. Now for growers in the middle of Kansas, it can sit in the field 1, 2, 3 weeks. It's probably not going to be impacted with a lot of rain because they're in a dry area.
True.
But I'll tell you what, if you're in Kentucky, or if you're in Ontario, or if you're in Fargo, North Dakota, and it sets in raining, it's going to have a huge impact on grain quality, on all of the grain quality characteristics. The test weight, the Hagberg, assuming you're in hard wheat, it has a huge impact. So timely harvest is important. The number of combines or the harvesting capacity becomes important. You know, how many acres can you harvest within a timely window within your farm? Do you need a bigger combine? Do you need help to come in and allow you to do it? Do you start at higher moisture? I mean, not everybody's comfortable doing that. A lot of people will dry corn at 25 or 30% moisture, but they don't want to dry wheat. And wheat, if it's 90 or 95 degrees for daytime highs, wheat is actually pretty easy to dry. It's a lot easier than what corn would be when the outside temperature is 40 or 30.
Right, yeah.
Fahrenheit, I'm talking. But yeah, uniform, you need to look at prompt harvest. You need to be able to harvest your crop in a timely window.
So we kind of went forward, maybe we should go backward. Doesn't a prompt harvest really mean seeding early?
Not necessarily. What it probably means is seeding different varieties with different maturities. So if you seed a medium, an early and a late maturity variety, then they're probably going to mature within a 7-day window. If you planted 1,000 acres of wheat that was all the same variety, there's a good chance within 2 or 3 days it would all mature close to the same time. But if you had early, medium and late maturity varieties, you could extend your 3-day window probably to 10 days. So your early varieties would mature first, you'd harvest those. By the time they're cut and harvested or cut and hauled off, your mediums would be ready. By the time they're cut, you'd be on your lay. So I'd encourage you to look at different varieties, and that would complement harvest and harvest workload.
So is what you're describing, is it not changing the mentality of the wheat grower to more of a, how you would plant wheat or plant corn? You know, having multiple varieties in the field, different varieties at different heat units or different maturities. Isn't it kind of moving more to that sort of model? It
is, and depending on the region that you work within, it's already there in some areas. I mean, I've been working with a lot of producers now in Kentucky for 20 years, and I mean, they're all about that. They understand the harvesting capacity issue. They've generally got the capacity available or got people to come in and help them if required. They plant in different maturity ranges. They're understanding all of that. So, I mean, they're taking wheat off at 22 or 25% sometimes, drying it down to get started early so you can get it harvested within a timely window to protect grain quality. They're there, but not every area is there, okay? It depends on the area and how much innovation's within that area.
Do you have an opinion on, in terms of harvesting wheat, do you have an opinion on conventional versus rotary combines?
You know, if you're harvesting higher moisture wheat, a lot of people will argue that a rotary is going to be better than a conventional machine. A rotary is going to feed probably a little better up to a certain point. But most of the growers I work with run stripper heads, and a stripper header is a much better option for harvesting wheat when the moisture is 20 or 25%. If you're using strobilurin fungicides at flag leaf, and I wouldn't use strobilurins after flowering, but they're okay up to full head emergence, I guess. But if you start using the strobilurins, and I'm a huge fan of strobilurins, it's going to make your straw greener longer. So not only have you got 20 or 25% moisture grain, you've probably got green straw with the use of strobilurins. That's what they do. They keep the plant healthier longer, which generates higher yields. But it becomes more of a challenge at harvest time. So a stripper header really helps you from a point of view of processing the material. You don't have to take the straw through the combine.
Right.
You're just taking the grain and the chaff and some leaves into the combine.
Right. For growers that don't know what a stripper header is, it's basically like a vacuum cleaner. So it leaves all the straw in the field.
Yes, it's basically
a big shag rug left over.
Approximately a 24-inch diameter cylinder with 4 pairs of fingers around the rotor that spin 600, 700, 800 RPM backwards and basically combs, if you will, the grain, the chaff and some leaves off the straw. So you're leaving the straw standing. If the straw is green and tough, it's huge. It can make some huge impacts on combine performance. So you're only taking grain, chaff and leaves through the combine. So you're using very little fuel, you're processing it very efficiently, and the bottom line for me is that you're leaving the residue standing uniformly in the field. So that's a challenge from a point of view of many combines can't spread residue. So a stripper header really helps with residue management.
So I can already see the emails coming in. What do I do with all that residue that's left? Like, what do I do with this shag rug that's left in the field?
Most of the guys that I work with are no-tilling and just no-till right into it. Now, if you get into higher rainfall areas,
Right.
they may have to run something across it to knock it over, but most guys can no-till. Not everybody wants to no-till, not everybody is set up for no-till. I mean, that's almost another presentation, but setting up equipment to be able to no-till is huge.